All right, guys, I want to show you guys exactly where to find influencers and exactly how to do it. So this is super fundamental because we can't be using influencers if we cannot find them. So first things first, I want to show you guys where and how we can find these influencers. And number one, simply by searching Instagram. We could use the good old search bar. Whether you're on desktop, whether you're on mobile, the search bar is always there, super useful. And I guarantee if you punch in a keyword related to your niche or directly about your product, you will find at least 10 to 20 pages about it. You could type in pit bulls, and I guarantee you will find 10 to 20 pages just on pit bulls, whether it's Pit Bulls Daily. I love pit bulls. I've seen so many of them while looking around. Also, we could look into related pages. We're going to get into that into the next slide. But also, search engines are something that is sometimes overlooked. You could always look up something about a keyword about your interest, your niche, your product itself, and you could find someone who is proficient in whatever you are selling and try to utilize that person to represent your product, because they are already people that are leading a following of people and are someone that people look to in regards to your product. So if you were selling, I don't know, maybe rings, you could find someone who is a ring blogger, influencer, or Instagram, just punching that into Google and seeing those results. We're going to go over the shoulder in a minute. I'm going to show you guys exactly how that's all going to work out and exactly how it all comes together and why it's so important to do this in a proper manner. So I wanted to reach back to related pages. Now, related pages, this feature is super, super important. Once Instagram implemented it, I used it really every single time I was looking for an influencer. So when you click over there in the right drop down next to the follow button, you will find strongly related pages to whatever page you are on. So for example, here we have Gary Vaynerchuk, serial entrepreneur, venture capitalist, pretty much all over the place with making money, and New York Times best-selling author, and super, super successful. He is a sensational hit on YouTube. And with that being said, he is a very successful entrepreneur. And as you can see, the next ones that you see right there in the related pages or the suggested pages are Mark Cuban and Tony Robbins. And then the next page is VaynerMedia, which is one of his companies. But as you can see, successful entrepreneur is followed and suggested with other successful entrepreneurs. Now, if we put this into perspective, we could do this same exact thing with Instagram pages for our niche or for our products as a whole. So let's say that we were using the camping niche and we found an awesome outdoors page, but this page wasn't the right fit for our promotion. Maybe they didn't want to accept it, or maybe it wasn't right for our budget, for example. We could always use this drop down, which is super helpful, to find other pages that are directly related to it. So maybe we could find another niche influencer, or we could find another general page who is willing to take our post, or who is more inside of our budget for our ad. And now what we could do is see directly into their network and exactly who is closely related to this person in their specific network. So let's go over the shoulder. I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to go about finding a few influencers right now, and why the search bar and everything else is so important to us while we're going about finding these influencers that are going to be raking us in cash for our e-commerce stores. I want to go over to Instagram, and I'm going to try to find a general watch page for you. So let's put watches into our search bar. So Rolex watches, don't want to do that because they're associated with Rolex, or probably just posting Rolexes every day. And I don't think we are selling Rolexes. So let's go to watches of Instagram. All right, so 104K followers. So they have a pretty big following. And it looks like they're posting a wide variety of watches. There's no certain brand loyalty, no certain focus. So they're not just posting Rolexes like that other page that we were just browsing past. Because if we're looking to post our watch here that we could be selling on our e-commerce store, we don't want to try to inquire to a page that's only selling Rolexes, because we clearly are not Rolex. So we see that we have their press email here. They're definitely ready to post a advertisement for any brand, because it looks like they're sharing a lot of watches. So this is great if we're in the watch niche and we're trying to sell watches. So here's a solid influencer for us to utilize really at any time. But let's go to Google and try to find something a little different. So let's say if we were looking for a personal page influencer, let's look up men's fashion bloggers. Let's do men's fashion Instagrammers. Okay, GQ magazine, 53 most stylish men you don't follow on Instagram. So as we could see, this is a pretty long article. There's a bunch of guys here. But if we do look here, it does say what they're posting about. So we could do something such as do Command F and do a search on this page, let's say watches. Okay, so this popped up 3 times on this page. And all right, one is the tab up top, and then we have 2 people here that are posting about watches. So here is one right here. So we can go to his page in a new tab. Sorry, let's go back real quick. Open that in a new tab. And let's go back to our search of watches. And let's go to the other guy over here. So here's another Instagram account that does post about watches out of these GQ stylish men. So here we have menswear and watch editor for King Mag Sweden. So here is a personal influencer. Obviously, he has a great influence over the watch community. He does not have a press email up and running over here, but he is definitely going to cost more than a general page influencer like watches of Instagram, and is much likely going to be more difficult to acquire to be an influencer for your campaigns, because he's very well established, as you can see, and it looks like he is promoting a very high-end product. So if we are really established and we do have our watch store, for example, really rolling and booming, and we have a lot of business to back us up and show that we are a very well-established brand, Andres could be a very, very good influencer for us to reach out to. Obviously, if you're just starting out, this doesn't look like the way to go, because he is a menswear and watch editor for a magazine. So we don't want to start out with a guy that is so advanced. So this is great for advanced influencer marketing and advanced branding to really build a sustained brand. And also, if we go to Alan over here, he doesn't have as many followers, doesn't seem to be as very high end, a bit more informal with some of the posts, but he does blog about watches according to the previous post. So this could be another person that we could possibly reach out to. But with that being said, it's not a given that these guys are going to be influencers for us. But as you can see, just by using Google, it was a super quick and easy way for me to find these 2 men who clearly blog about watches online. If we're looking for personal influencers and they're not popping up right away, whether we're on our mobile device and pressing the arrow down to see related pages to pages we're already in contact with or already following or already come across, this is another great way to go about finding personal page influencers that are related to our niche, just by doing a little bit of intermediate research on google.com. All right, everyone, I'm inside of twitter.com in their search area. So as you can see in this top right area of the desktop version, there is a search bar that you can utilize, which is what I just used to get this Pugs search going. And right now we're in the top tweets area. So these are like the most popular recent tweets, the most engaged with tweets. They don't have to even be from anyone that you follow. So what we're gonna do, instead of getting all of these random tweets, we're gonna go over to the accounts area, which just so happens to be right here. We're gonna get this full list of accounts that are related to our search directly. So as you can see, we get all of these Pug pages, and there's countless ones here. So we're gonna look towards the top here, and let's just start with Emergency Pugs, for example. Let's say we wanna check out this one. They have 510,000 followers, which is a huge following. That's very good. And as you can see, we get their Instagram right here, which is another way to see what else they're doing. So we're gonna go to their Instagram, and more often than not, we're gonna see that their business inquiries are gonna be on their Instagram page, because that's more so where they're going to be doing a lot of their influencing. And on Twitter, it's more so just content and building a following rather than doing influencing and paid marketing. As you can see, we have their business inquiries and submissions here. So this is where we can go for a featured post, emergencypugs@yahoo.com. They don't have as big of a following on Instagram, but they still have a good following. So it's 13.3 thousand followers, which is a good influencer to use if we're just getting our page started. Let's say we're at anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 followers. So even if Pug Emergency didn't have a lot of followers, for instance, even on their Twitter or their Instagram, and they were closer to our follower count, instead of paying them for a featured post, you could do something such as a shout out, and you could each shout out one another and share your audience with one another, therefore exchanging followers and gaining traction on both pages. So therefore it's a win-win for you and for the page that you're working with. So they don't always have to be a paid advertisement, but this is a good way to find influencers that sometimes you cannot come across on Instagram itself. So that's why I find searching on Twitter and doing a little digging as a great avenue to find these influencers that you wouldn't normally come across.